all of a sudden, the entire course of my awakening, starting in 2009, especially the portion extending through 2013 into part of 2014, started coming into one cohesive, clear communication to me. I started like frames on a film strip, seeing my out-of-body experiences, one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, showing me the exact same thing, showing me that my higher fractal consciousness was sending me a communique, a single communique, informing me what was happening in my body, informing me so that our chances for keeping these boots on the ground during the collective shift was more likely. I finally started putting two and two together. This is mind-blowing to think that from 2019 through 2013, I was talking to myself from a higher level to ground level. And I didn't get it. I did not cognize the message, the communique, the entirety of everything. For my higher fractal consciousness, seeing a need to take me out of the body and bring me into the additional fields where I'm positive I was being told, but only bringing back into the physical space as much as I was. You know, I remember the electronic spiders that were crawling on the walls and on the ceiling in the etheric version of my physical space. I remember the reptilians entering. That's one I didn't actually do a video on. I may have mentioned it. You know, the warehouse, I'm trying to recall some of them, at least right now. I was taken into a warehouse of diseased individuals, and one of them in particular came face to face with me, and his entire face was diseased. I couldn't even tell if it was a male or female. But that's when this started appearing on my face shortly after. Parasite, yeah. Anyway, just wow, I'm mind blown over this. I'm thrilled. I'm finally receiving in full the communique and doing ground level what I need to do to keep boots on the ground. That is what, we're attempting to do. We are masters learning how to live in a physical body. And a part of learning to live in a physical body is, of course, coming all the way into the physical body, which I have now done. In coming all the way into the physical body, we learn to care properly for the physical system. And this is where the cleanses of the systems of this body, of the inner organs of this body, and this body as a whole comes into play. My consciousness does come from, is an element of a league of beings who participate, created and participate in a program that believes in the ascension of the body, not just the conscious of the individual in the body, but every consciousness cell comprising the body. And this, to me, is the collective shift. When it starts happening here, it starts happening here. Just let that blow your mind and start caring for your ship. A week, I kicked that up. Didn't I? I was really curious about what I would have to do to be able to explore my own consciousness to that depth and degree at will. And that experiment was a huge success. I kicked that up from 2 times a week to roughly 5 times a week. And it had a cost. I may go into that with you in more detail at some point. But right now, parasites. I'm doing the inner cleansing now of my system from what occurred, not just as a means of my curiosity and consciousness experiment, but as a way I lived my life prior to day one till now. That did draw into my arena what it has in the way of parasites. And now that I'm going into my internal organs and doing a deep internal organ cleanse, I was wondering how long it would be before I was able to begin releasing them. Parasites. Yes, we all have parasites, and yes, we all need to cleanse our system of the overgrowth. Yes, they serve a purpose and function. No, they are not meant to overgrow our own house, our own biological system, our own experience of our own self in this lifetime. So the detoxes have to happen. The cleansing protocols have to come into play. It means your light quotient is turning up, and this is drawing the attention. Various ways I can put this that I'm giggling at. Well, let's just say of the other side, the dark side. Often those of us in the consciousness exploration community are looking for proof of various things, of proof that this is actually happening, that proof it's happening in a consensus type reality, proof that negative entities, type 2 malevolent beings actually do exist. Well, this is one means of that proof. Any organism that comes into our system that does so to take over the system, that begins overgrowing the system, taking the system over, is a parasite, is a negative entity, is a malevolent type 2 being. And so, yes, what we pull from our systems in the way of what we generally term microorganisms, like Candida, and then the others are the inner organ and intestinal worms. We tend to think of things in terms of purely the physical spectrum, but everything is not just physical. Everything is spiritual, metaphysical, and physical, both simultaneously at the same time. And we need to start joining these together in our awareness, and so that we break out of the scheme of the division of the duality of saying something is either this or that. Now, everything, in fact, is this and that. This is something that's ongoing. I've been engaged in this detox for 3 months and likely will be for another 9 or more, just to get myself back to my status quo, just to get my own ship back under my own control. This doesn't even include what I can do with it from that point forward. Chickens are trying to get to my